There are a ton of awesome manga that are coming out throughout the month of May, so let's go ahead and talk about some of them. Stay tuned. Alright, welcome back to my now regular new segment on my channel where I go over kind of a buying guide for new manga releases for every month. Last month I did the first video in this whole segment, and in that video, basically I explained the way this is going to work. I'm not doing these videos just to talk about what I'm excited for that's coming out, but to make sure that I talk about all kinds of new releases that are coming out that I think are noteworthy, so that I make sure that you all don't miss out on things that you otherwise might enjoy picking up. Now, a couple things to note. Number one, what do I mean by noteworthy? I mean, new volume ones, maybe new collector's editions, new box sets, single volume releases, final volumes, stuff like that. So it's not like, One Piece volume 99 comes out in May, and that's definitely noteworthy, but it's not really a notable release as far as what I'm talking about here. Second thing to mention, of course, is that a lot of these dates are going to shift for many of these books. It happens all the time. It's just a matter of fact. So just keep that in mind. The dates that I'm going to have in this video, by the time I post it, some of these items may have been delayed to different dates, and a lot of these things are going to be available early. A lot of the items from the first week or two are already available for order on like Right Stuff, or they're available to pick up at places like Barnes & Noble. If you want a full list of the pre-orders, I'm going to put a link to like Right Stuff's pre-order pages in the description of the video, so you can check that out there. Otherwise, we're going to just go with some of these notable releases, and there are a lot of them, so I'm going to be hastily going through and not really giving full descriptions and opinions on some of these things, just so we can make it through. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump on in, starting off with the first week of the month. On the 3rd, we have a few notable releases. Number one, the first one I want to mention is Town of Pigs. This is a horror manga, single volume horror manga from legendary creator Hideshi Hino. And this is the first time in over a decade that anything has been published in English by Hideshi Hino. So this is extremely noteworthy. This is coming from an independent publisher, a smaller publisher called Starfruit Books, and I should actually be receiving a few copies or a couple copies from them of this book so that I can do a giveaway. I'm extremely excited about this release. They are extremely excited about this release. It's going to be an awesome book, and it's really awesome to see more Hino published in English. Hopefully this is far from the last time, and we get more stuff in coming months, more announcements soon. Next up, Survival in Another World with My Mistress, Volume 1. This is a new, it looks like an isekai type series. It's a spicy fantasy comedy that looks like it's kind of inspired by Minecraft. Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible, Volume 1. This is the newest in the Shonen Jump line from Viz Media, about a outgoing girl who befriends a wallflower, kind of introverted guy, and kind of pushes him to be noticed by the rest of their high school class. So a nice, kind of romantic comedy type series. It sounds like a lot of fun. I haven't checked it out yet. I'm very excited to check out the first volume and see how it goes. Next up, we have the first of 3 releases this month that are scheduled to come out this month right now from Osamu Tezuka. This is Ode to Kirihito. This is a 2-volume series originally being re-released in a single volume. This is the story of a mysterious disease and the search for a cure. So if you are a fan of Tezuka and you do not have this series in your collection, this is a great chance to get it. Next up, we have Sailor Moon, the Naoko Takeuchi Collection, Volume 1. Now, these new volumes are essentially just the Eternal editions, but they're smaller, like standard-sized volumes with much smaller prices. I think the price point, and I'll correct myself if I'm wrong, on these books is going to be like $11.99 or $12.99. So it'll have the same content as those, but they'll be more of an affordable price for those who don't want to pick up the expensive Eternal editions. So that's all for the first week. Let's move on into the second week. On the 10th, we have, starting off with another release from Osamu Tezuka, and it is an anthology volume titled The Thief Inoue Akikazu and Other Stories. This is a collection of psychological thriller short stories from Tezuka. So if that's something that you're into, this is definitely one that you want to pick up. Next up is something that I'm super excited for, and that is the Death Note short stories volume from Viz. This collects, I believe, the pilot chapter that was previously in the How to Read Volume 13 collection, as well as the A Kira and C Kira stories. One of those was previously only available in print in English via the all-in-one edition. The latter one was released in 2020 and as of yet has not been released in print. It's only been available digitally, and there's a few other short stories that are included within. So basically all the Death Note related short stories that were not in the 12 volumes of the series. I don't know 100% whether this is going to be the same size as the standard volumes, or it'll be oversized like the Black Edition volumes. So we'll see. We'll see pretty soon as it starts hitting stores and stuff what this actually looks like. Next up is It's Just Not My Night, Tale of a Fallen Vampire Queen Volume 1. This is another new isekai. It's a spicy vampire isekai, so if that's your thing, then cool, pick that one up. And we end the second week with another Tezuka book. This is the third Tezuka book for this month, Bomba. This is a single volume again about a student who has a passionate love for his teacher. So that's 3 Tezuka books in the first half of May. That's pretty crazy for Tezuka fans. Next up on the 17th, moving into the third week of the month, we start off with Colorless Volume 1. In this manga being published by Seven Seas, a cosmic disaster has stripped all color from the world and mankind has changed into some sort of mutants. An investigator meets with a young girl who may hold the key to bringing back color to the world. The notable thing that makes this one a little bit different from most other manga is that it utilizes like singular colors against the black and white. So as you're reading, like certain colors will appear. If you've read Frank Miller's Sin City comics, it's kind of the same idea that he uses with, like, in the story That Yellow Bastard, he makes the yellow bastard yellow, or like in other stories, you know, dress will be blue or dress will be red, someone's lips will be red, highlighting certain colors against the backdrop of everything else being black and white. So that's something that I personally haven't read in any of my manga that I have, so it's something that's interesting to me to see in something like that. And also the style of the artwork and the description of the story sounds interesting, so I'm looking forward to picking this one up and trying it out at least. Next up, Mame Coordinate Volume 1. This is the first of a 4-volume series, so not a big commitment at all, about a girl who is the complete opposite of what you would expect to see from like an idol, but a new rookie manager has discovered her and decided that he wants to make her into the next big model. So, you know, not exactly for me, but that's for someone, and I wanted to point it out, and that it's only 4 volumes makes it an easy, you know, not a huge commitment for people. All right, so next up we have a book that I actually already have in hand from One Piece Books, and that is The Music of Marie. Now this one is due out on the 17th, but it is currently available to order on Right Stuff, and One Piece Books sent me an advanced copy of this one. I just got it a couple days ago, so I haven't gotten to read it, but this comes from creator Usamaru Furuya, and if you recognize his name, you may not, but he did do a couple of other things that you might recognize. Genkaku Picasso, which is part of the Shonen Jump line, Lychee Light Club, horror manga, and probably his most recognized work here in the States is his adaptation of the classic novel No Longer Human, which was printed years ago by Vertical and is actually now this year getting reprinted, which is great. It's getting reprinted in an all-in-one volume, which is fantastic because it's been out of print and very hard to find for a very, very long time. So very good stuff there. It is a fantasy series about a mechanical goddess named Marie, and she sings, so it's the music of Marie. So once I read that one, I'll be sure to talk about it in, you know, haul videos and whatever, and talk about it in future videos here and on my other platforms. So look forward to that one. It looks really great. I flipped through it. It looks fantastic. I can't wait to read it. Next up is the final volume of the Shonen Jump series, We Never Learn, volume 21. So if you've been reading that series and enjoying it, we finally have the entire thing in English. You can wrap up your collection, have that final volume on the shelves. That's always an exciting feeling. Next up we have I Want to Be a Wall Volume 1. Now I couldn't find out how many volumes there are of this, if it's ongoing or concluded or what. But the story sounds intriguing. It sounds very heavy and something that would be interesting to actually read. An asexual woman winds up marrying a gay man because she wants to satisfy her parents, and so this is the story of their relationship going forward and how they deal with that. Very, very interesting, intriguing plot line that I might wait until I hear other people talk about this series, but it does sound like something interesting that I might want to check out. Moving on, we get next Crazy Food Truck Volume 1. This is the new series from Viz Media's Signature line. This is the first of a 3-volume series, as far as I could find. It's not very long. That sounds absolutely bonkers. It looks like a good time. and I cannot wait to try this one out. So I like food stuff, food related manga, so regardless, if something has to do with food, I'm like, yeah, I want to try that one out. But this one looks like it's going to be a cool, crazy action series as well. Moving on, we get the Cells at Work box set. So if you've not read the Cells at Work series, if you've not collected it but you've been interested in it, this is going to be a great place to get the entire 6-volume series in one box for the should be about the same price as the individual volumes, plus it has the box and maybe a poster in there. It's a good place to get it all in one place. Cells at Work, if you're not familiar with it, is a shonen manga that has a very kind of Magic School Bus type vibe where you're having fun seeing these stories play out with these characters, but you're also learning a little bit about human biology as you go along. But it is a shonen manga, so it has a lot of fun action sequences that are juxtaposed against the informative bits and stuff, and the artwork is really fun. So if you haven't checked it out yet, I recommend it if that sounds good to you. And finally, for the third week, we have Baby Bear's Bakery Volume 1. This is an all-ages manga about a baby bear who has a bakery. That's about it. Moving on to the penultimate week of the month, the fourth week, 5/24, we have a good amount of releases on this week. First up, we have The Weakest Contestant in All of Space and Time. This is a new kind of sci-fi action series about a guy who is, he's got no ambitions, a very mundane life, and he's suddenly abducted by a god to compete in a tournament to find the weakest being in all of space and time. But rather than fight against the other contestants, he decides to find a way to rescue them and take them away from this place. So this is only a 2-volume series, so definitely not a big commitment. It's 2 volumes, which makes me wonder why, I believe it's 7 Seas that's publishing this one, why they didn't just do an all-in-one volume. But either way, it's interesting, it sounds fun, and because it's so short, I'll probably pick it up just because of the lack of commitment, just to kind of see how I feel about it. And the artwork looks pretty good as well. Next up, we have Cat plus Gamer. I think this one is actually already available in some markets, but Cat Gamer Volume 1, basically a gamer adopts a stray cat, and she uses lessons that she's learned from her video games to help her raise the cat. I know there's a ton of people who love anything to do with cats and will pick up any cat-related manga, and this is definitely something for them. It's not really for me, but I'm glad that it's out there for all of those who will enjoy it. Next up, we have Phantom of the Idol Volume 1. This is a josei series about a lazy male idol and the ghost of an idol who had died a year prior. And then we have Tomorrow Make Me Yours, which is a single-volume high school boys love manga. So if you're a boys love manga fan, this is going to be a good single volume for you to pick up. Next up, we have I Got a Cheat Skill in Another World and Became Unrivaled in the Real World 2. Obviously, this is an isekai manga. It's a new fantasy isekai, so if you're into that kind of stuff, there it is. Cirque du Freak Volume 6. This is the 6th and final 2-in-1 volume of this Shonen Sunday manga based on the old Darren Shan young reader novels. So if you were a fan of those, this is a series you might want to pick up. I've never read either the novels because they came out when I was a little bit beyond that age range, and it just never really interested me. And I never picked up the manga either, but so many people through on here and on my TikTok videos will ask me if I have read those books, to the point that the saturation of questions regarding the series makes me kind of want to track it down, and also because it was originally published in Shonen Sunday in Japan, which I generally enjoy everything that I've read from the Shonen Sunday magazine, so I might try it out in the future, and 6 volumes is doable. Anyway, I spent a little bit more time on that one than I wanted to, but the next book is a single volume titled Let's Go Karaoke. The president of a high school choir club begins to give singing lessons to a Yakuza member. And I couldn't find that much about the story and stuff like that, but from the description, which states As the two spend time together, where will this odd friendship take them? It makes me feel like this might be a BL manga. Don't quote me on that. If it's not, if you've read this and you're familiar with it and it's not BL, I'm sorry, that's what it sounds like by the description. Next up, Wotakoi Volume 6, which is the final volume of this popular josei rom-com. And this one is getting released in a box set later, which is probably what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to pick up the box set for this one. So if you've been collecting the single volumes, here you go. The last one is out there. If you haven't and you want to get the box set later, I'll talk about that whenever it's coming out. Next up, we have another new fantasy isekai called In the Land of Leodale. Moving on to the next one, another fantasy isekai called The Wolf Never Sleeps. This one, though, sounds a little bit more interesting. I think this one, The Wolf Never Sleeps, is based on a light novel series, but the manga is, as far as I could find, only 3 volumes long. I really like the cover of this one, so since it's short, has a cool cover, I might try it out. But it's only 3 volumes long, so it's not that much of a commitment, so that's always a really cool thing to know. Next up is one of my absolute most anticipated books of this month, and that is A Silent Voice, the Complete Collector's Edition, Volume 1. I'm hoping that this does not get delayed again, because it was originally supposed to come out like last fall, and it got pushed back, obviously, all the way now, like half a year plus later. So finally we're getting this hardcover collection. It's the first of 2 volumes for A Silent Voice, which is one of my favorite manga of all time. Such a sweet story. It's, you know, a 7-volume manga. It's going to be collected into these 2 volumes, so it's not very lengthy, but it's just very emotional, very well put together. If you've been reading To Your Eternity or watching To Your Eternity, it is by the same creator. If you've somehow gotten to Your Eternity before experiencing A Silent Voice, then definitely go back and read or watch A Silent Voice. But I am so excited to get a premium format release for one of my absolute favorite manga like this. So I can't wait. I cannot wait. When I have it on hand, I'll have to do a video showing like the specifics of the build and stuff like that, so y'all can know whether it's worthwhile to pick up. And we finally get to the last week of this month, which has a lot of material. So on the 31st, we have 7 new releases from Glacier Bay, and I'm not going to go through and describe each of them individually because it's going to take way too long, but I just want to talk in general about Glacier Bay. If you've never heard of them or you've never ordered any books from Glacier Bay, I really recommend checking them out. They are a newer publisher that's been around for a few years now. I don't remember exactly when they were founded. And they publish a lot of like alternative and independent manga and a lot of gekiga and stuff like that. So things that you wouldn't find from other larger publishers. They do a lot of really great stuff. This is one of the books that I have of theirs, Children of Mootown. The builds of their volumes are really high quality. So they are a little bit more expensive than you'll get from like most other larger publishers, but they put a lot of effort into making these books. So the 7 that are coming out are Tonio, Red Riding Hood's Wolf Apprentice, Final Testament to the Moon, Volume 1, Carmine Line, Favorable Wind on Full Sails, Mermaid Town, Sleepy Child, Dream Another Dream, Meet Me in the Unkept Garden. So those are the new releases from Glacier Bay that are coming out at the end of May if they don't get delayed or anything like that. Look up their website, look through all of their releases and stuff. There's a lot of cool things on there. I'm looking to pick up at least some of these, if not all of them, just because I really like supporting small publishers, and I also really like reading these, you know, independent works and stuff that are really different from what you find at other publishers. It's really different types of stories than what you find at the big publishers like Viz or Kodansha. Moving on, we then have Donald Duck Visits Japan. If you're familiar with the movie The Tres Caballeros, these characters come together again for this story, and they must go to Japan. It's being published by Tokyo Pop, as Tokyo Pop tends to handle most of the Disney-related manga. Then we have, this is an interesting one, from Udon, Summertime Rendering Volume 1, as well as Volumes, I think, 2 and 3 are coming out this month. But Volume 1, both the paperback and hardcover edition are due out this month. And then in August, we get, I think, the paperback editions for Volumes 2 and 3 and maybe more, and then we get the hardcover editions for 4, 5, and 6. And I think that wraps it up. I think it's just going to be 6 volumes. And then later on, they'll do the rest of the paperbacks. So they're like pushing this series out as quickly as possible to get the entire thing in these 2-in-1 volumes. I think it was a 12 or 13 volume series in Japan, but they're pushing it all out as quickly as possible. So we're getting 3 hardcovers at the beginning of the month. And Udon's releases are very high quality. I don't know, like, they don't have a ton of manga out there, but the stuff they do have, like if you've seen their Rose of Versailles volumes, extremely high quality hardcovers. So I'm looking to get the hardcover releases for these because I am sure they're going to be really, really nice. And I think they want to like push these out as quickly as possible because the anime is kind of trending at the moment, and it is going to be on Disney Plus. Or is currently on Disney Plus. I don't know the situation on that because I know there was something where like it was there but maybe not available to watch. I don't know. Anyway, anime on Disney Plus, summertime rendering. I'm looking forward to this one. This is a really strange new release, the way that they're releasing this, and they've even acknowledged that it's a weird new release, the way that they're doing it. Moving on, we get to Cells at Work Baby Volume 4. That's Cells at Work infants, like chibi stuff, not Cells at Work Baby. Like, I'm not using that as an exclamation or anything like that. Cells at Work Baby Volume 4, which is the final volume of this little spin-off series. I passed on this one. I wasn't terribly interested in this. I enjoyed the original Cells at Work, and I enjoyed the Cells at Work Black spin-off. But I wasn't really that interested in picking up the chibi spin-off. But if you did and you enjoyed it, then I'm very happy for you, and you will probably be able to get the last volume at the end of the month here. Moving on, next is Fairy Tail Box Set 6. This collects volumes 54 to 63 of Hiro Mashima's long ongoing series. This is the final box set. So now if you've been collecting it in box sets, you have the entirety of the series. At the end of the month, you'll have the entirety of the series, and that's great. What I'm interested in is if in the future, because they haven't announced anything yet, as far as I'm aware, if they'll also do box sets for some of the Fairy Tail spin-offs and stuff, just to make it easier for people to buy those, because there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them, and I think it would be interesting to put those in box sets. As well, I'm interested to see if they would consider putting Fairy Tail into omnibus editions that are similar to like the 3-in-1s that they're doing for Seven Deadly Sins and Fire Force and other series like that. Because I know that they started to do the master editions and they got what, like 4 or 5 of them published before cutting that line, and that only went through like less than half of the series. So it'd be interesting to see them do these 3-in-1 omnis, because those seem to be selling really well because they are pumping those out. Like, I think Seven Deadly Sins is like 1 per month at this point. Anyway, moving on from Fairy Tail. Next up, ReZero Frozen Bond Volume 1. This is a new series based on a short story by the original author of ReZero. And we get to the Holy Grail of Eris. This is a new fantasy drama series about a Viscount's daughter. I believe it's Viscount. I don't think it's pronounced Viscount. Viscount? I don't know. Viscount. Someone will correct me if I'm wrong. A Viscount's daughter framed for a crime she didn't commit, and the ghost of an infamous villainess who comes to clear her name. I Am Not a Succubus Volume 1. This is a new series from Horitomo, the creator of Monster Musume, so you know exactly what to expect from this. The Duke of Death and His Maid Volume 1. There's a young duke who was cursed by a witch to kill everything he touches, and so he's forced into exile with only the company of his butler and his maid. And from the description of the series, it sounds like he might develop feelings over time for his maid, and he wants to rid himself of the curse so that he can actually become close to her and have a relationship with her. Moving on, I Think I Turned My Childhood Friend Into a Girl Volume 1. This is a romantic comedy about 2 friends. Kenshiro enjoys makeup and practices applying it one day on his friend Hiora, but the result evokes feelings in Kenshiro. Meanwhile, Hiora has had feelings for Kenshiro long before this event. So nice little romantic comedy there that a lot of people are going to be interested in. And then we get to Nightfall Travelers Volume 1. This series features 2 members of a school newspaper club who are assigned to investigate and write about haunted places within their town. This sparks a friendship between the 2, and they might find that some of the stories about these places actually are true. This one sounds really cute. I might want to check this one out, at least the first volume, just to see how it goes, because it does sound like a pretty fun, lighthearted little series. And we end the month on something that is actually, it's already available, but it was scheduled for the end of the month, so I saved it for last anyway, is the full 7-volume reprint of Aria, the Masterpiece editions from Tokyo Pop. This 7-volume set reprints the entirety of, well, it starts with Aqua, the first series, which was 2 volumes, and that gets collected in the first book, I presume. And then volumes 2 through 6 collect the, or 2 through 7 collect the entirety of the 12-volume series Aria, across, 6 2-in-1 volumes. So 7 books. You can get all of them individually, or you can purchase all of them in a single set. And if you do all at once, like if you buy the entire set at once, then you get, the bundle gives you like $5 off of the price. So you get a little bit of a discount there. This is a classic, it's like early 2000s is when it started. So early to mid 2000s was when it was being published. Kind of fantasy sci-fi type series about, I believe it takes place on a future version of Mars, which has been, I don't want to say terraformed, but there's it's been aquaformed, like there's water over the planet and stuff like that. This one is one that I haven't read yet. I'm interested in picking it up just because it is getting, number one, it's getting a really wonderful looking new release. These new editions look beautiful. And number two, it sounds like something that I would absolutely love. So I'm looking forward to picking this one up, trying it out, and seeing how it goes. So that's everything. We had a lot. I told you guys early in the video, we had a lot to go over, and we went over them, and I tried to go as fast as I could. There's a lot of stuff that I'm always glad that I'm doing these videos. I was happy to do it last month. I'm happy to do it this time as well, because going through all these releases and trying to take notes and talk about these new upcoming books is really great for me to also find things that I didn't know about and to find things that I otherwise might not have tried out that now I'm gonna pick up just because I went over this stuff. So I had no idea, for instance, about The Weakest Contestant in All Space and Time, and now I'm picking that one up because it sounds like a lot of fun. And I probably would have missed out on all of those Glacier Bay releases. I probably would have missed out on Summertime Rendering and Aria the Masterpiece. I looked a lot into these titles whenever I started looking up information for this video, and it led me to discover these new things that now I'm excited to try out. I'm excited to pick up. So let me know, what are you looking forward to picking up? Whether it's something that I talked about in this video or not, what are you most excited to pick up in the month of May? And is there anything in this video that I mentioned, talked about, showed that you previously did not know about or were not planning on picking up that you are now looking forward to trying out, that you are excited about? Let me know in the comments below. I'm really interested in hearing from all of you. And with that, that wraps up this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video helped you in some way and that it was not just informative and helpful, but also entertaining. I always strive to be informative and entertaining in my content. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this and you are not yet subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the bell so you're notified of all the upcoming videos that I post every week, and I will see you all on the next one. Peace out.